Welcome to the Romance Your Tribe podcast with me, Janet Beckers, where every episode is about action, creating an online business you absolutely love, and bringing joy to the work you do. Let's get this party started. Hello and welcome, Janet Beckers here, and we have a special preparation checklist session for you today in Romance Your Tribe podcast, because the last month I've been doing a whole series on how to use sales calls really strategically in your business and to know if they're right for you as well. So today we're going to tie it all together and you'll have a checklist that you can go through to go, right, what do I need to have in place in order to make this strategy work super duper well? And to help you with that, I've got a special handout for you. So if you go to the podcast page, which is on romanceyourtribe.com, look under podcasts, you will find that here, or just the links wherever you are listening. Go to the podcast page because I've got there a download for you that has got a preparation checklist. So you can use this to tick off for when you are preparing for doing sales calls in your business. And also if you're finding they're not working so well for you and you want to review your process. So I've got the checklist and then also different resources. So if you identify an area that you need help with, I've got some resources there for you. So make sure you go and grab that. And so I just really wanted, first of all, before we get stuck into the nitty gritty, is I've had a really interesting insight in the last couple of weeks, because while these last episodes have been rolling out to you, because I batch everything beforehand, while they have been rolling out to you, I've actually been super duper sick because I got COVID. Now, the thing with the COVID was mainly the exhaustion. I just slept and slept and slept. And it wasn't just getting a lot of sleep, because I'm always fanatical about that anyway. I think it was also, I just did not have the energy to even care about anything. And I think that kind of allowed me to get a little bit of perspective on, if I can't be bothered doing anything when it comes to running my business, what really are the things that, if I've got minimal energy, what are the things that I am going to do? Like, what's going to keep my business ticking over? What's going to keep the money coming in, clients being looked after, and me enjoying it? It's a really great exercise to do. I don't recommend you have COVID in order to do that exercise, but it really reinforces the importance of what I'm going to be talking about today, because, if you're using sales in your business, you want to make the process as streamlined as possible. You only want to be spending your time on sales calls with people who are absolutely highly qualified to become a client of whatever it is that you're selling through those sales calls. You don't want to waste your time with tire kickers. You don't want to waste your time with people going, oh, I think I'll get back to you. So it really does come down to, you know what, if I'm going to spend my time one-on-one with somebody, I really want to make that as efficient as possible. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm bringing to you that extra layer of clarity of, right, if you don't have to wait to get sick or can't be bothered with anything. It can also be you're getting so successful in your business that, what can I do to simplify this? And that might sound really silly, but I've got a few clients like that they've put action in and they've really got results, and now they're reaching that next plateau of, holy heck, I don't have time, I'm so busy with clients. So that's where these processes of automation are really going to kick in for you. So bringing that perspective of, I don't care about a thing, let's just make sure whatever energy I use gets me maximum results. Let's get over now to the sales calls preparation checklist. So I'm going to go through the things that you need to know that you've got in place. Okay, this will accompany the checklist that I've got so you can tick through, and it's got links to resources. I'm not going to go over everything I've done in the other podcasts, because if you've got an area that you go, that's what I need, you can go and dive into that one deeper and get extra help. So let's walk through the right order for you to have things in place. Now, the first thing is you've got to decide, are sales calls right for me in my business? Because you don't want to be setting up all these structures for sales calls when it's overkill. So I've got an episode there for you. It's a super duper short one about how to know if you don't need to have sales calls. But this is a really good decider for you. If you know that the offer that you have got, that you are selling, is a high enough price that you're going to get a return on your investment of your time to do the sales calls to start with. So for example, unless you're really starting out and you're looking for any conversations at all that you can have to get to understand your clients, but once you're in business, you're thinking, well, I'm not going to invest this amount of my time for something that's only a couple of $100. Okay, so you want to make sure that it's going to be profitable for you as a return on your investment of that time, as well as, remember, you're delivering a service. So that's one of the things you need to do. Sometimes, a benchmark might be anything over about $2,000. Now, the other side is going to be, do you need to really make sure that that person fits the criteria to get the best results from what you're doing with them? Because that way you know that you're going to have a happy customer, and also the work that you're doing is actually going to get results and get repeat customers. So that will be another decider as well. And I do that, for example, for people who are working with me at my accelerator level, which is my VIP group program. We have to get on a phone call and talk, because I want to know if they're coachable to start with, and also, am I going to be able to get results quickly for them? Because I don't want to waste their time and money on something that's going to take them a lot of thought and getting things in place first that they could be doing with the other resources that I can give them. That's an example, okay? Also, I want to know if they laugh at my jokes. If they don't think I'm funny, there's no way I'm going to be hanging out with them every week. So that's, you've got to have your own criteria. So that's one of the things you've really got to think about. Is the sales process an important part for you? If it is, then these are the things that you've got to have in place. If you think, well, no, it's not, I'm only selling things that are a few $100s, well, that's when you will be looking at other things like sales letters, traffic to sales letters, and those sorts of processes. So, and that's a whole other lot of training which I have for you. Now, so let's dive into your preparation checklist. Once you've made that decision that, yep, this is what I'm going to do, you want to streamline it. So the very first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you've got things in place. And as I said at the beginning, you do not want to get anybody onto a sales call that is either not suitable for what you've got, that doesn't have the money for what you've got, is not ready now, like they're not hungry now for the results, that they're not invested, they haven't invested enough of their emotions into it to make it that they're going to buy now rather than in a year. So you want to make sure that you've got that in place. So let's look at your checklist, your preparation checklist of what you need to have in place before you even get on the phone with anybody or on Zoom. So these are the things. Now I've got a whole episode here for you. It's the 3 steps to make sales calls fun and profitable. Yes, they can be fun. So what we've got here is, these are the things you need to have. I talk in that podcast about, telling people that you're going to be giving them something, this free session, and then, oh, by the way, I've got something to offer you. People know that, so just be upfront. Set expectations, okay? So I go into details in that episode on how to set those expectations, but be very, very clear. If you're selling something and it's going to be costing $10,000, don't tell people that if they've got a budget of $1,000 that they'll be fine, okay? Unless you have a payment plan that allows that to fit in there. So be really clear about what your expectations are. And the next thing is to be super duper clear on who is the ideal person for what you're going to be offering. Okay, so number one, be super clear on that. And in that episode, I go into detail on how you can filter people out what are the steps that you need to have to filter people out so they can self-filter out. Okay, so, and you can do that really, really respectfully. So I go into that in that episode, and I also talk about, the software and the steps, the automation to be able to do that. So if that's something that you're thinking, okay, I've been getting some of the wrong people on the call, this is absolutely going to be your first step. Now, once you know that, this is the next thing you've got to do. You've got to understand, is your offer that you're going to be giving them, is it going to be a no-brainer? Because you don't want to invest this time with something and people go, oh yeah, that sounds quite good. It's not really exciting me. I might look around and see if there's something better. You want people to go, oh, fantastic, that is really good. So in order to do that, you need to really understand the transformational journey that your client wants to go on, and you really need to be super clear on the transformational promise. What are you going to be saying is going to be the outcome of what you're going to be doing when you're working with them? And then also, how are you going to do that? Like, that is your offer. So don't waste your time and people's time getting people onto a sales call when you don't have a really well thought out offer that shows them the outcome they're going to get and how they're going to get there, and make it so that you have really dived in. Now, I'll talk in a bit later about some resources I've got for you. If you're finding that part there about your offer and about your, actually who you're helping, what your transformational promise is, this is a really big part, understanding that. If you don't have that nailed, doesn't matter what a great process you've got in place, it's not going to work very effectively. So I've got really great resources there for you too. One is, this is what we do in the Attract Your Tribe Academy. Okay, it is designed, that is your outcome. You are going to have an awesome offer, and you're going to be selling it, and you're going to be having visibility. You're going to have, you'll be making bank as a result of your intellectual property. So the Attract Your Tribe Academy is perfect there for you. So you can just go to romanceyourtribe.com/AYT. Attract Your Tribe. Now, I've also got some free training to understand what things you need to have in place to make that work, and that's romanceyourtribe.com/AYT webinar. So that's free. It'll give you an overview of what you need to have in place. So if that's what you're missing, absolutely, I've got resources there for you. That podcast, the webinar, and that's what I can do. That's my gig, how I can help you through the academy. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the next things that you need to have in preparation. So once you know that you've got the right people on the call, you've had a process to filter out the people that are not suitable or won't be able to afford what you've got, then once you've got them on a call, your next thing that you really need to evaluate is, do you have a framework so that you take control of how that call runs, so that it gives value, builds rapport and trust, and at the same time makes it, when you make your offer, that they're actually asking you, how can you help me? Okay, do you have a framework? Now, I cover this framework for you in the podcast that's called the Non-Icky Sales Calls Framework. I've got the links there for you in the show notes and in the handout. Now, you will know that you've got to have something in place here. Either you're starting out from scratch, or if you're experiencing these problems, that when you do get people on the call, you're always feeling like you're really manipulative and pushy, or you might be feeling really anxious because you're expecting rejection. You may have... you might be finding that you're giving really great value on the call, and people are going, oh my God, I'm so grateful. Look, I'll come back. I've got so much here to get going already. Yeah, been there, done that. Or you might find you go off track and you have a great call, great conversation, but it's, not resulting in the obvious thing of making a sale. And a lot of times you may getting people saying, look, I'll come back. I'm not quite ready. I think I'll come back. If you don't have a framework for that, without having to memorize all of these icky sort of, when somebody makes this objection, you say these words. No. You need to have a framework that is really simple and respectful and very positive. So I've got that there for you if this is the area that you're finding trouble. Now, the next thing that you have to work out is, do you have a framework but you're feeling a disconnect? Because it really does come down to, once you've got this in place, especially if you're going to be doing this via video, say Zoom, you also need to be able to have an energetic connection, because people will perhaps going, oh, I just didn't buy something, didn't feel right. It will be the energy. So I actually demonstrate the exercise that I do and that my clients do that prepares you energetically to connect with people. Really, really powerful. So I've got that there for you in the demonstration on how to connect energetically on a sales call. I've got links to that there for you. That's another podcast episode. Now, once you've got this in place, the next thing that you're going to think is, right, I need to know how to simplify this and automate it as much as possible. There's some really great tools, some free, super cheap ones that you can be using that make this whole process streamlined. And so the way to do that is I've got another great resource for you, which I've just recently developed, which is the Simple Online Tools Guide. So in there, depending on what stage you're at in your business, and part of this is about sales call, I share the exact software that I use and that I teach my clients to use. So you can find that at romanceyourtribe.com/toolkit. So just go there and it's got great training for you, all of the links, things that you don't need. It'll tell you don't waste your money on this and just keep it simple. And so you've got all of that there to be able to automate. Now, if you've got to the end of this and you think, okay, I've got all of the steps to put in place, you're looking there at your preparation checklist and you realize that either you're not super duper clear on your transformational promise. You may not be clear on actually who is the most profitable person that I can work with. You know, there's lots of people who you can help, but which are the ones that are wanting to buy now? So if you're not clear on that, and then if you're thinking, look, you know, the offer that I've got is I've only got like, you know, I adapt things for people, like don't do that. Or I only have one-on-one. If you're if you don't have like a system that you can go, this is the solution A, B, C, D, it's all here laid out. If you don't have that, it just makes it more difficult for you. And then the next thing you've got is, great, I've got all of this set up. Where's the traffic? How do I find people? I've got all this wonderful system set up and it's crickets. I need to attract people. If that's the thing that you're looking at, okay, I think I need some help with that, then the best place for you to go is to the webinar that I've got that goes through the whole step. So you understand what you need, and you'll find that at romanceyourtribe.com/AYT webinar. Or you can just come straight over to the academy. Okay, so you can go to /AYT or just drop me a message, ask me about it. That's my step-by-step way to get all of this in place for you. So hopefully this has worked for you as a bit of a summary for you to be able to know, am I ready? And I don't want to waste any of my time by getting the wrong people on sales calls or running sales calls when I don't need to. And you know, I want to make sure I've got the right things in place to get the right people. And I want to make sure when I do turn up to do a sales call that I am all over it, that I've got a great process to do it and I'm making it easy for people to buy. So hopefully this preparation checklist will help you with that. And if you've got any gaps, you'll know where to go to get the extra resources and the help. Now, my challenge to you is a scarecited challenge. So scarecited is that feeling that you get when you're really, really nervous about, because you're stepping out of your comfort zone. And I tell you what, sales calls are going to do that big time. Is that challenge, when you're really, really nervous, but you've got that excitement inside, that if this works, awesome. So scarecited. My challenge to you is feel it, like really feel that in your body, that scarecited, and then do it. Okay, so just one step. And I've got a great podcast that I also ran during this series with Julie Lewin, and she shares how she was, would feel sick before getting on sales calls, and now she loves them. They're a lot of fun, and she's actually really enjoying them. And she shares the story about making her first $20,000 sale on the sales call as a result of what I've just been sharing with you. So you've got some great resources there. I really want to hear from you. What's your one big takeaway? I'd love to hear that. So come share it with me. A great way. I'm trying to move over a lot more to Instagram at the moment. So if you're over there, share it in a story, tag me, whatever it is. Just send me a direct message or come through email or wherever it is on socials. I shall find you. So I'd love to hear from you. The Scarecited Challenge, what's the action you're going to take? Really, really welcome you to do that, because honestly, scarecited every single day, do that every day for a year, you're not going to believe the difference in your business. Okay. Bye. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I loved hanging out with you, so let's do this again. The best way to do that is to subscribe right now to Romance Your Tribe podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you'd like to dive in deeper to more episodes, great resources, and really in-depth free training, come over and join me at romanceyourtribe.com. Bye.